Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the interview. I'm excited, man. I got my brother. Some may know him as Jeremiah. Some may know him as Flip. If you really know him, um, an LA native. Always call him a neighborhood hero. I've been calling him that for years. One of the most impressive people I know. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremiah Benjamin. I'm excited to have you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I can dig it. I like your little setup we got going here. It's
Yeah,
cool.
man. Yeah, man. I'm excited about this interview. As you know how this goes, I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and feel free to elaborate. Feel free to say your piece, and don't be too short. Let the people know.
Oh, for sure.
So first of all, let people know who you are and where you're from.
Uh, where I'm from. All right. You already told the people I'm Jeremiah. Nobody really called me that though. I'm Flip. Everybody know me as Flip. Um, Born and raised South Central Los Angeles, 88th Street, Normandy to be exact. Um, but did most of my schooling in Inglewood Middle School, Crozier Middle School. Then went to Inglewood High School. But you feel me? I did my elementary though, where I was supposed to, LaSalle Elementary. You feel me? Shout out to all the people that went to LaSalle. Um,
LaSalle, where's LaSalle at?
LaSalle is in the cut too. Where's LaSalle at? On 87, between 87th and 89th. On what is that? Harvard?
I don't even know where. I don't know where
Yeah, see,
LaSalle is.
yeah. You don't know nothing about it. Off of like Manchester and Western. Like
Okay, okay.
in the cut though, behind you gotta go through. You know about Happy Fish, you feel me?
Yeah, of
Fish
course.
market right there. Yeah, you go in the cut, you gonna find us out.
Okay, so you represent South Central LA.
There we go. There we go.
South Central LA,
There we
right? For,
go.
for the most part. And what do you currently do as a profession?
So I run my own company. I'm the owner and founder of 88 Ideas, and the founder of a gaming platform called Podlabs that's releasing this year.
And people may not know this, but I want to share this because this was one of the most. I remember kind of when you dropped Flip Tendo
Yeah, it was
some
cracking.
years ago, and I interviewed you then. Right? So this is
Yep.
here we go again,
Full circle.
full circle, and you still in the same industry of tech, or is it considered the tech industry? What is the industry that you're in now? What is it called?
Well, so yes, it's still tech. I would always say that I tried to, or I did start businesses in emerging technology. So, for instance, like Fliptendo was a play into virtual reality when nobody was really getting into virtual reality. Nobody said, I mean, it's a lot of people still not in the virtual reality, but it was me trying to introduce my community to something that people were being introduced elsewhere to. Same thing with the metaverse. 88 Ideas really took off because of the virtual buildings and stuff that I was building and stuff like that. So the metaverse came along, and then yeah, I got the title of being a metaverse architect because I was building out virtual environments, virtual venues, museums, different things like that. And from there, gain the skills and and basically hire correctly. Started a business to where we can consider ourselves like an independent game development studio.
And do me a favor, pull that mic toward you just a little bit more.
Okay,
Just back. Yep, that's
that's
cool.
cool.
That's perfect.
All right, for sure.
One thing that people I want to bring up that people watching out here that I think that you probably don't get credit for it because you're not the type of person that actually looks for credit. But I want people to know some of the things you've done and why you even here.
Okay,
Um,
go for it.
One of the things I think that was super impressive that you've done that people probably wouldn't even know is that during the crisis, the water crisis, I believe it was in Michigan that you
No, no,
drove.
no. It
No,
was Hurricane Harvey. That was
her,
in
her,
Houston.
yeah, Hurricane Harvey in Houston, where people were struggling for water and food, and you drove a truck from Los Angeles to Houston full of water
Supplies.
supplies
Yeah. That was not my intention. You
Yeah,
feel me?
talk
To have to
talk
to
about
have
that
to.
because that's like that's why I call you a hero. And I got some other stuff to bring up, but just go through that process, like when that
Yeah.
happened, and we'll get to professional stuff. I want people to really understand who Jeremiah Benjamin really is deep down inside, because you're a super humble guy and you've done so much. I know you're not gonna talk about it, so I
No, I
gotta,
appreciate that.
I gotta push you in it. I gotta push you towards it.
All right, no, I appreciate that. So, I had some partners down in. I had never met them, but Pop Darby, Monster Trey, all of these dudes was down in Houston, and they had started this thing called Creative Group Economics. That's what it was originally called, and I was really tipping with them. So, I had only ever met those dudes through the internet and everything like that. Raspy Raws, those dudes, um just building with those dudes, and then like yeah, Hurricane Harvey came and kind of devastated them, and they were boots on the ground. They were boots on the ground out there going, and I seen them. I watched them go from like different wards and different housing little sections or whatever, and deliver food and deliver water and everything. The government wasn't really helping them out. That's the same time that Trader Truth really um catapulted for doing, not to say he wasn't already doing work in the community, but that was a time where he kind of catapulted into like the limelight for it. So um they were doing that, and I just felt like I had to do my part. So from out here, um yeah, I just organized at my grandma's house on 88th Street in Normandy, a drop off location for people who wanted to necessarily donate to the people out there. I just was basically trying to equip the homies that was already boots on the ground with more yeah,
Just more supplies.
more
Yeah,
supplies
more
to
help.
distribute
Right.
uh through their network, and they was asking for more supplies, so I was like, I'll just be a big donor or whatever. So I just galvanized LA to kind of drop off, supplies, and we got a bunch of people to drop off supplies. One of the biggest people that, and it wasn't a celebrity, but it was these group of couponer ladies, these ladies that do like the coupons and everything like that. And I remember pulling up right before we left. We pulled up to their garage, and they just had so much. Can I cuss?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so much shit. They had so much liquid detergent, diapers,
So let me ask this.
water, whatever.
How'd you get to the point of, because you were just gonna send this stuff out there or what?
Okay, yeah. So I got budget. So I tried to get budget. I tried to get Penske, U-Haul, anybody. I didn't want to pay for the truck, and like I knew the truck needed to go to Houston. So like I don't know how the truck is gonna get back, but you guys are national like businesses, so like I basically was asking them the same way I was asking everybody else to donate supplies. Like you guys are sitting up with hundreds of trucks on your lots. Like let us have one for a national disaster so we can go down there and deliver. Penske didn't answer me. U-Haul didn't
Wow,
answer me. But Budget did. Budget gave us a truck.
wow,
16 footer, I believe it was 1625, one of those long ass truck, big ass truck, no
right.
yak. Um, and we filled that motherfucker up with supplies from the front to the back. And originally, these guys were supposed to drive it down there because, like, we not driving no, like,
Yeah, you don't plan on driving to Houston
I don't
during a
know.
hurricane.
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know how to drive this big ass truck. Like it's a huge truck. Like, but those dudes backed out. They was like, we can't do it right now. So at this point, we sitting up with all the supplies, the truck, and it's like we not gonna give the people the supplies. So me, my brother, my I got one brother, older brother, me, my brother Anthony, and my cousin Jermaine. Jermaine from Ohio, so he like country. This nigga, you feel me? Jermaine down for whatever. So you feel me? And Jermaine know how to do everything. So driving the truck, you feel me, wasn't out of his thing. So me, Jermaine, my brother hopped in the truck, and we kind of underestimated. we underestimated what it would be to get down there, to get all the way to Houston. And it was like, you feel me? Even when we GPS, it was like 18 hours. Man, it took us like 27 hours to get down to that
Wow.
motherfucker. Yeah. Um,
But the impressive part is that you put this together and then the tenacity to see it through even when things didn't go well or didn't go as planned. To me, like I had to tip my hat. Like, yo, this dude is like you didn't have to. That was all volunteer work, and
Straight up. And the crazy thing is that wasn't the toughest part was not getting down there. Nobody knows this, but once we got down there, it's 11 o'clock at night. So
mm,
there's not really this availability to like give people the stuff that's in the truck.
right,
And these dudes don't got nowhere for the truck to go to unload the truck.
right.
So it's like we drove all the way out here and like we don't got nobody to give this stuff to. So we went to a couple little spots and they called people out the house like, "Hey, they got supplies." So people came out, but we got too much stuff and not enough people to
Mm,
service. Um,
wow.
and we trying to get back to LA. So like we got a plane ticket to go back the next day. Um, we don't really got nowhere to stay. You feel me? Like some people offered us to stay somewhere, but like what? We really finna go to sleep in Houston with some
Right,
strangers, like and
right.
everything? Like, nah. So we end up sleeping at the budget place and we left the truck full at budget. Like,
Mm,
listen, they're gonna come and get the truck to unload it tomorrow or something. Like, so we actually drove down there and really didn't get to distribute the stuff to the
mm.
people. We just had the faith that like, hey, Pop Darby and Raspy Rock, those dudes
We're gonna do the right thing.
would do the right thing. And they eventually did. I remember getting videos once we got back to LA, seeing the videos of them picking up the truck and being like, damn, bro, there's so much stuff in here. And it took
Wow.
them a while to get it. But like you can imagine, I really wasn't tripping, but you can imagine that like driving down there ready to help people, to distribute to the people and everything like that. And that's where you kind of had to like put your pride to the side and everything like that. Like, yeah, you might not get to distribute the stuff to the people and touch all the people physically, see the
Right.
people that you helping, but that
Which is the kind of the fulfilling mechanism. You want to see the people
that
that
you
you're helping,
helping
right?
and
Which is
everything.
kind of like a selfish thing, but not
Yes, a very selfish
but
thing.
naturally it's kind of like it is what it is.
Straight
But
up.
but
It's a
I always,
scripture.
tip my hat for you for that,
No, I
bro.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's a scripture in the Bible that say one water, one plant, and God bring forth the increase. So like stuff like that was always able to help me like realign stuff. Like, bro, you might not be able to see the actual thing happen, but like somebody is responsible for planting, somebody is responsible for watering, and then somebody is responsible for the growth.
for the
Like,
harvesting, right?
yeah, so you might not be there for the harvest, but
Mm.
just do your part.
No, man. Like I said, man, I got to tip my hat, that's just one of many things. And I want to like kind of put this into perspective for people watching and listening. Like, you are what we would call from the hood, essentially. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
You were raised here, and most people won't give anybody from the areas that you're from that type of credit or recognition, or even expect that type of act from a person from the area that you're from. So, man, I just meant, like I said, that was one of the most impressive things I've seen
I appreciate that.
you do, and I know it wasn't easy. So, and to add on top of that, you also did a lot of stuff for the neighborhood for the kids, man. You putting on Nerf wars, and you constantly bringing kids into your space and getting
Shut
them
up.
hooked on technology and whatever it is. I just, man, like I really be saying like, yo, this dude is truly the neighborhood hero because you from the area, you represent the area, you don't change your language, you don't code switch, you don't change the way you dress, you don't change the way you act. You a good dude, man, and you're from the area, and you always are looking for ways to have an impact on your city. Where does that come from? Where does that stem from?
Uh, I don't I don't really know. I don't really know. I mean, say in order to be great, you gotta serve first. So it's always I move by inspiration. So if I'm inspired to do something, I'm gonna do it, and it's always there's always these these sort of like how do you describe it? There's always these these voids, I believe. Like we got larger problems in our community and everything, but there's always these voids that exist that like nobody's feeling. So like we know that in order to reduce crime, reduce the violence and all of that kind of stuff, you have to address the youth. You have to give them different outlets. If they don't have outlets, then they're pretty much going to end up in non-advantageous positions.
So let me ask this because
Go
I
ahead.
agree with you. What was it like for you growing up in South Central?
Um, I, it was cool. I mean, to me, it was yeah, it wasn't nothing. As a kid, being in the midst of it, playing basketball in the street, um, your older cousins not letting you come in granny house when just making you play outside all day, drinking out of water hoses. You feel me? Um, running around through the neighborhood with your friends, like life was good. You feel
What I mean,
me?
because you gotta, of course, you navigate through the dangerous aspects of growing up in Los Angeles. So, how did you avoid or getting involved with some of the gang activity, or how did you avoid like danger or
No,
any?
I
I
got
don't
you.
know. You know
I
what I'm
got
saying?
you. No,
Like,
I got you. Um, avoid. I mean, I think I didn't really know danger like that until maybe like middle school, going into Inglewood. I think that's when I figured out the streets was treacherous or dangerous. Like, cause you going into a whole nother like section of like people, like, and they different over there. Inglewood is a city full of bloods. So and even then, like, I wore glasses. I wore glasses. I was a chubby kid. Like, nobody really looking for me or nothing like that. Ain't nobody really pressing my line that hard or whatever. But you you are not exempt. So like, yeah, you got your fades that happen at school, or your homies getting into it with some gang members or stuff like that. I remember I got robbed in Inglewood.
yeah,
Inglewood
me
is where
too.
all the violence in my life, like growing up in the city, like, no, I'm just playing. I got robbed. I didn't get robbed. I was with somebody that got robbed. I ain't gonna say their name. They can tell their story. But I was with somebody that got robbed right across the street from LaSalle. We was on our way back from getting some ringtones put on our phone. We just rocking down the street playing them new ringtones we just got on
Oh, I
the
remember
next
that.
tails. You
Yeah.
feel me? Dude walked up with a rusty pistol. Like, you feel me? Hey, give me your phone. He was like, "Where your phone?" I was like, "I don't got one." You feel me? He was like, "All right, give me yours." And my dude, he took dude phone. You feel me? My dude was like, "Hey, can I have my phone back?" And he was like, "Nah." And he just kept it pushing. I got robbed at Inglewood for my hat. It was a dude from Centinela Park Families. I had a Chicago Cubs, no, a Cincinnati Reds hat on.
Oh yeah, he gonna take that.
For
Yeah, he
real,
gonna
the
take that.
red C, you feel me?
Yeah.
It was cream, you feel me, with the red pinstripes. Yeah, we was walking home from school. Me and Lucky pulled up on us. He was like, "Hey, bro, what that Centinela Park family like?" Like, bro, we don't gang bang. You know, as a like, you feel me, growing up in that environment, you kind of know the thing, bro. Hey, where y'all from? We don't gang bang, bro. If it go a little further than that, like, bro, we really don't game bang. Like,
Yeah.
what you really want from us? Or you telling me play basketball or something like that? Like,
Question number one. It really is. question number one is where
Where
you
you
from?
from?
Where you from?
Where y'all from?
Yeah,
Or what that like? And it's
yeah,
like, if I got something, you feel me, negative to say to that, I don't know nothing about it. Never heard of it. Oh, don't you
right,
dare.
right.
Don't you
No,
dare.
no, you know, and
You
that's
you
and
want
that's
problems.
and that's what it is growing up in LA, and it really is like a fish out of water. You don't realize a fish don't realize it's in water until you put it on land. So I think same here. I didn't even realize how dangerous it was until you kind of leave and grow out of it. Like, man, what was I really going through? So,
For
but
real.
yeah, I wanna move into the aspect of disadvantages and advantages because I think being from a city as such with so many landmines that you got to avoid, I think it gives advantages because you learn something. What
No,
what
straight up.
what advantage do you feel like growing up in the city gave you?
Um, it's so many little rules that you learned that, like, no matter where you go in life, like, you'll be all right because of it. So, like, it is something like in LA, like, keep your head on a swivel, bro. Never be too occupied or consumed with something, whether you driving, whether you walking, or whatever. Keep your head on the swivel. You feel me? Know what's around you and know where you at. I don't care if you in Brazil in the favelas. I don't care where you at in the world, bro. That lesson is applicable, bro.
Yeah,
Never be so occupied or consumed with what you're doing that you're not aware of what's going on around you. And LA just make you, it's just certain rules that you learn here that, like, make you aware and, like, yeah, people
especially if
just
you
can't get the jump on you. Like,
no,
yeah,
especially if you caught the 115 or the 210,
yeah, yeah.
the buses.
And it's certain, like, little tricks of the trade that, like, them landmines that you talking about. Like, I remember it was a dude that got on. We was at McDonald's right there on Manchester, in Inglewood. Dude got on all blue chucks, blue, but he in Inglewood, and he
Hmm.
and he had and and he walking up to people. What's up, cuz? What's up,
Tripping.
cuz? What's up, cuz? He pressing people or whatever. And I remember whoever was with me was like, that's what you been doing for me with families. I'm like, what?
Right, 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 right,
Yeah, and he just trying to catch anybody
right.
slipping.
Yep.
You act a little too comfortable with me. Yeah, he finna press you, but he was really a blood. Like,
Right.
you feel me? Or them niggas that
That
walk
did
up to
happen.
you smiling, what's up with it? Da-da-da. Like, bro, I don't even know you, but, like, you feel me? He a little too nice to you or whatever. Yeah,
Hey, can I
bro.
make a phone call on your phone? Can I
Yeah,
see your phone? Can I see your phone
man,
real quick?
all that. Yeah, nah, bro. See, anywhere else, it's like, oh, you don't have your phone? Nah, bro. You better not get that, man. Yo, I don't got no phone.
No, that's
My phone dead.
I would agree. It definitely gives you a sense of awareness for sure. And then where there's advantage, there's disadvantage. What do you feel like there's been any disadvantages that
For being from LA?
yeah.
No.
No, interesting. Okay,
No.
okay.
Let me see. Is there really potentially any disadvantages for being in LA? I think we spoiled. I go other places and I expect the weather to be beautiful. I expect, you feel me? I just expect paradise. I expect, you feel me? Um the prices of everything, I guess. Like, I guess that's but if you learn how to deal with LA prices, no matter where you go, you gonna be solid. If you can figure out how to live here, how to maintain here, how to survive here, that's what they say. If you figure out how to do it here, then you go anywhere. I go to Houston, I go to Florida. You feel me? New York, a different little thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
New York and San Francisco, you're gonna it's much like LA,
yep. But I
pricing
went to I
wise.
went to San Francisco, and living up there for like a year and a half, 2 years, like, I was good. Like, I was never in a situation where I felt like they tell you in San Francisco, don't go to the Tenderloin. Don't go to it was down in the Tenderloin. It's like, it is downtown LA. What y'all talking
Right.
about? This is not that bad. It was a place called it was above the dog patch. Um and I used to stay like on the borderline of where they was gentrifying and like where the real niggas was. I could tell,
Hmm.
like, okay, you feel me? Like I would go to the liquor store and I see these with no belts. You feel me? Big ass jeans and everything, dressing like they was still in like 2003, 2005. I was like, all right, that's where the niggas is at. But you still learn how to navigate through that. But yeah, I guess
No, so you don't feel like there's no disadvantages.
disadvantages of growing up in LA. No, LA is the best place in the world. I'm the
Okay.
biggest
Okay.
LA South Central whatever advocate. Like I'd never give no other place no leg up on us
No,
for sure.
I would give you that for sure. You are through and through a representative of LA. You want people to know, it's even in your company name,
Straight
88
up,
Ideas. You want
straight
people to
up,
know where you from.
straight up.
Um, so let's get into some professional work. You are a metaverse architect,
Yes, sir.
and nobody would expect anybody to be in that genre of work coming from the inner city of South Central Los Angeles. And you didn't go. Did you go to college? Did you go to a university or any of that? To
I didn't go to a university. I got a degree in computer aided drafting and design from ITT Tech. You feel me? Um,
so I mean, so with that, how did you get into now being one of the leading really, man, I mean, if y'all don't know, y'all listen to this. This man literally has been all over the world at this point, speaking on stages in front of some of the most influential people in the world. You are now seen as one of the leaders in the metaverse
straight up. You're not lying when you say
world.
that.
Yeah, no, I know I'm not. Yeah, I know I'm not. And how did you get into this? Because this is big. This is like the .com era all over again with the metaverse. It's still very early, so people are still coming around to it. But how did you get into this genre of work and becoming what you are today?
um, all right, so I graduated with a degree in computer aided drafting and design, which simply means that I can design and draft things instead of having to use a pencil or paper or whatever. I can craft things with a computer. I can design out my ideas with a computer. I work for steel detailing architecture and engineering companies for maybe like 9 years after school. I graduated in 2010. So between 2010 and 2020 is when the pandemic started.
2020. Yep.
Yep, 2020. Yeah, I worked for the man. I worked for them peoples. And so
But
it
even
was
then, that wasn't metaverse. That was just
no,
computers,
no,
right?
no, no. That was me. I have an interesting background for creating metaverse spaces. So I worked for architects. I worked for people who draft. I was a 3D modeler, which means architects can design a building, but when it comes to documenting it, and in order to document a building, you have to create a 3D model of the building first. So you have to create a 3D design of it. Architects usually don't do that.
Hmm.
Engineers, when they compute their numbers and everything, and they're adding loads and all of that stuff to buildings, like they don't build their models. The people who go to school and have the PE and all of that next to their name, they don't build 3D models. Their BIM team does that. That is what I was a part of. So I would go to work every day and construct 3D models of buildings that were potentially being built in real life. I had this idea to sort of create buildings that would never exist in real life. Like I wanted
Mm.
when I created 88 ideas, it was like, how do I let someone come to my office that does not exist? Like my office does not exist, but like I still want to show them what I'm working on. I still want to give them the feel of like what it feels like to come into like my office and see what I'm working on, see what I'm doing, and that would save me money. Like certain things that I was creating, like it cost me money to make prototypes, whether it was a trivia game, whether it was a bathrobe, but all these different ideas I had, it literally cost me money to make them in real life. But if I would, it cost me less. it cost me time to like 3D model them out and design them in a way that like you could see them. So like instead of actually making a prototype, I could just make a product mock-up. Now, if I created a framework where product mock-ups could exist inside of, then I would never have to produce the product until the people actually until I knew people wanted it.
So
Like,
so you had the idea of creating a virtual space that people could essentially experience without having to physically show up.
yeah.
And
So
that's
so if like when you walk into Google's office, like wherever Google's building is, if you walk into their building, it's a feeling that that place gives you. Like, oh,
mhm,
these people are doing shit. They, you feel me? They working on. Now, I didn't have that. You couldn't physically walk into my apartment or whatever like that,
right.
but I could create a building where you could virtually walk into it, and I could give you that feeling. Like I could, and this is before the metaverse existed.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So I created that, and then from there, that's how I ribbon cut 88 ideas. I basically ribbon cut a virtual office. I opened up a virtual office and let you walk through it and see like this is what 88 ideas would be like if it was real life.
If it was physical.
But while it's not, I'm gonna park my Acura NSX, my Mercedes outside. I'm gonna let you elevator up to my office. The doors is gonna open. You're gonna walk through. You're gonna see this wall size picture of Journey on the wall, pool table in the middle, cause artwork all on the walls. I could do that virtually and it not cost me anything, as
Mm.
opposed to trying to wait to build that in real life. And then I built you
You did.
a radio station
You sure
inside of
did. You
that
sure
same
did.
building and everything. So I started helping my friends like y'all should have virtual space like places where people can come if they yeah. And I figured like this would my idea was that they would replace websites. Like people wouldn't want to 2D scroll on
Oh, I
websites no
see what you're
more. They
saying.
would enter
Huh.
into like your virtual
Yo,
spaces and everything. And
that
that's still
is
relevant today.
no 100%. I mean, that's I feel like that's what the metaverse is going to. It's going to replace the internet uh to a large degree. Instead of like you said, instead of showing up, instead of typing in such and such.com, you just actually virtually walk in and
Yeah,
choose what you want and
exactly.
having a different experience.
Exactly.
Yo, I mean, I could definitely say, man, you was ahead of your time and still is.
Well, that's why I got the name of metaverse architect. I don't know if anybody ever called themselves that before I did. Like you
I've
feel me?
never seen it.
I always say I'm one of the first metaverse architects just because I don't know if there was a person that existed that called themselves that before me.
So
But
no, I don't think so either. But I do want you to do this for me
for
because
sure.
there are people who are trying to understand the metaverse,
Okay.
much like the internet. They didn't get it. Like, where is it? Where's the internet? Like, you know what I mean? It's nowhere. It's everywhere or whatever. How do you simplify? And if someone, whether it be 5 years old or 65, which you know the understanding for technology is almost the same, how do you explain the metaverse to somebody who totally doesn't get it in the simplest form? How would you tell somebody this is what the metaverse is?
Simplest form, I would say the metaverse is a ecosystem of virtual destinations and venues that have their own economy with like cryptocurrency powered by like cryptocurrency and NFTs and stuff like that.
It, it,
So
it
the
is it virtual reality?
it does not have to be virtual reality. So the same way that you play NBA 2K and you got a my player and you
Mhm.
can walk on the court and you can meet your homeboys at the court and y'all can play. That's an immersive experience. A
Right,
person can get lost in that and play that thing for
for
hours
sure.
and it has its own economy where transactions are happening. The only
Yes.
thing is you can never cash in that money or whatever you do inside of that game and turn that back into real life currency. I mean, they've found little workarounds where people are selling their skins and stuff like that, but that's
Mhm.
not what it was built to do. So I think the metaverse is that is trying to build out a Grand Theft Auto world, but it's a variety of experiences. Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K, museum experiences, all of this stuff, but give you the ability to transact with it using real world monetary system. Like, so cryptocurrency, it's the difference between using V-Bucks or whatever you buy with 2K and all of that kind of stuff. But instead of that, you're using, I think, Sandbox uses Sand, Decentraland uses Mana.
See, because I'm thinking more so it's like Avatar. Like you choose your whatever your skin or your person or your avatar essentially, and you experience life in a different space.
Well, I think people jump to like the highest form of the metaverse. I think that's the end goal of the metaverse. Like, if you told people the internet was what it is today at the beginning, people would have never understood it. Like, you had to give people read only pages at the
Uh
front.
huh.
And
Right.
then from there you continue to graduate and grow. So I
Right.
think I think
It was Minecraft, and then Minecraft to solitaire
yeah.
to World of Warcraft, and now the video games are just
Yeah.
it's
So I think
outstanding.
most people get caught up in describing what the metaverse will be without
Huh.
necessarily showing people the first steps into entering in there. But VR headsets and haptic gloves and all of that kind of stuff, that'll definitely be where we end up when you talk about the metaverse. But right now it is onboarding people into, we have a physical reality, we have a spiritual reality based on what you believe, and now we actually have the basis or the foundation for a virtual reality, virtual places that you can go to and experience things that don't exist in either of the other realities.
How far are we out from a true, like, real embedded experience of the metaverse?
Embedded mean embedded in
Like
what?
in life, like how the internet is. Like the internet
Um,
is something that we use daily. Everybody uses it daily almost.
I mean, we still have to get to an inflection point. I do not believe we have to find the Pokemon Go of metaverse. Like, we still haven't hit that thing where we onboard millions of people into the metaverse using one thing. So I think right now with the metaverse, we're doing a bunch of use cases. We're testing out different things that could potentially onboard people. Some people say fashion will onboard the masses into the metaverse. Some people say gaming will onboard the masses into the metaverse. Some people say NFTs will onboard the masses into the metaverse. We're testing out pretty much everything right now.
So,
So that's what 88 Ideas does. We play with use cases, whereas Podlabs is our bet that, like, okay, this is our play for what gaming looks like in the metaverse. Like, let
right.
me let me test out what it looks like to create a platform for gaming, for metaverse gaming, um, because at this point that's a billion dollar industry right now, and people are betting very heavily that, like, all right, gaming will be the thing. Like,
Oh
so
yeah, I mean, even in school now they have esports as like football, or it's a team now. It's a thing. It's here. It's
straight
only
up,
growing.
straight
So
up.
I agree with you. Now I got a question. I got a bone to pick about the NFT situation.
Go
Now
ahead,
I want to ask you
go
how
ahead, go
how
ahead.
real is the NFT? Like people buying NFTs and selling them. Like is that a real thing? Is it a waste of money? Is it just a money? Like what is that going? What's going on with the whole NFT situation?
Is it a waste of money? It depends on what which one you buy. It's kind of like stocks. You can shop in the penny stocks. You got the S&P. You got the, you feel me, Nasdaq. You got all these
I mean,
different
we see people making NFTs of just it's a
bullshit.
it's a circle with another circle in the middle, and then it's like, oh, buy
um,
this.
I think it's the days of early on NFTs. it was like the Wild Wild West. You feel me? So people could sort of create, they could manufacture hype around projects and different things that didn't necessarily have the the visual appeal, but they did have an audience. They did have a community.
Mm-hmm.
NFTs are based on community. If you have no community, you have no value to your NFT. So the next step of NFTs are utility based NFTs. Like if I buy this NFT, what do I get for it outside of the promise of monetary gain? Because a lot of NFT projects are getting in trouble with the SEC now because they have to be classified as securities because y'all made promises that like if people bought this thing, like it would grow in value, as opposed to like nobody has ever bought a skin inside of a game for the promise that it'll grow in value.
They buy it
Like
just because they want it.
they buy it because they want it and they have a use for it. Like
Mm.
I bought this thing and now I can use it in it, and that is enough for me. Like that
Right,
is what I
right.
wanted
I
it
want to
for.
see it.
Exactly. So I think the NFT space needs to graduate to that. Like once again, like that's why I created Podlabs. Is like, okay, if you're gonna buy an NFT, like I'll back all of my NFTs that I sell you with a video game, with a game that you can play
That
and
you can
use it.
use the NFT. I
Exactly.
see what
So
you're
I
saying.
can I'm not promising you that this thing will grow in value. If it grows in value, that's great. I'll give it all the tools to be able to do that. But it has to have a utility. So I'm very optimistic about the future of NFTs. But
I
early on, I can see why. I mean,
it's
any
tricky. It's I mean it's to me. I mean I didn't really know because I'm like man like there's this stuff I can make in Photoshop. It look like
straight up.
or
But as long as you had a community that was willing to buy them and hold and raise the price on them, and you can manufacture that. Like there's ways to manufacture this the perceived success and hype of a project. If I'm not gonna say anybody, if you release a shoe and you only release so many of them, and you go and you buy all of them, even if, yeah, if you buy all of them, or you get 1,000 people to buy all of them, and now all those 1,000 people decide, hey, we not gonna sell these for nothing less than $1,000. They done now
right
set
that's it
what we call in the space a floor price.
right.
So now there's a floor price. Now the demand grows. It's nothing but supply and demand. It's a play on supply and demand
I guess
consistently.
I guess they say it's worth whatever people want to pay for it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
what is gold really
that's
worth?
what I'm saying. It's whatever
Yeah,
money is not even a thing.
exactly. We all have to agree upon it,
Yeah, it's an agreement.
and the only
Hmm.
thing is, if more people agree on the value of something than the available product, you're good.
Hmm.
So I
I
think that's
agree.
the whole thing with the NFT space. Like, if you release a project that got 5,000 pieces, if you can get 15,000 people to sort of agree that these things are worth it, now you got 10,000 people that are willing to transact and buy. And
For it.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So I think we underestimate how smart these things look. Like, oh, it was just a chance. Like, nah, bro, this is manufactured. These people are very smart and
Hmm.
meticulous about how they release stuff, um, how they buy up stuff, just their community of people, giving them to famous people and all of that. Make it, they can create that FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Right, right.
Yeah,
It's gonna be big
and
right. Gary
yeah,
Vee is really good at that.
yes,
Speaking of famous people, go ahead and I want you to go ahead and do some name dropping, man.
no.
Who's some of the people that you work with? I know this ain't your cup of tea, but I want people to understand the rooms that you're in. So who's some of the big names that you've worked with? Obviously, we talk about Baron Davis. We talk about Idris Sandu, just some people that I've seen you kind of be around. Who are some other people that you've worked with?
Um, I mean, all of these people are my contemporaries at this point. So, like, yeah, the Idrises, the 19 Keys, the Barons, the um, yeah, I've been in rooms with the Gary V's, the Snoop Dogg's, Cordell Broadus, um, Hennessy, Sony, all of these people. They're cool. These people, they need stuff. They need people like me to continue to create. Um, and that's always interesting. Is that I find myself in a lot of rooms where people. I have a coveted. I have a coveted talent. Like you feel me? The thing that I've chosen to pursue and everything sits at the forefront of what everybody says. So like, yeah, I've sat with the BMW people. I like you. I literally designed Hennessy's first metaverse experience.
Wow.
These Everybody says they want to enter into this space. They have no idea how to enter into this space, and frankly, I'm one of the metaverse architects that focused on like photorealism and stuff like that. So like when you see my worlds, they didn't look like cartoon worlds. They didn't look like kid games
Right.
and stuff like that. So people were very drawn to my work, the NBA, all of
I
these
mean, not even
people.
that, because you had a whole thing with Facebook. How, now, talk about that. How did you had a whole run in with Facebook? I remember you telling when Facebook dropped Meta, and you went right at them. You said, "Yo, hey, look, I've been doing this Facebook," and they uh they got back to you on that, didn't they?
the the head of diversity and inclusion did. You feel me?
So how
Um
so like what was that experience like? Because you went right at Facebook. You kind of, I don't want to say you attacked them, but
I didn't attack.
you definitely pulled their coattail.
It wasn't Facebook. It was Mark Zuckerberg in particular. So when Mark Zuckerberg made the announcement that like they was changing the name from Facebook to Meta and that he was building the metaverse, all I basically said was I addressed Mark Zuckerberg directly in the sense that like he has no right to say he is building the metaverse. There's not The metaverse is not a the thing. Like if that's like somebody that's building a really good website. Even if you build Google on the internet, you're not building the internet. You're building a
Mm-hmm.
very useful, powerful tool that exists on the internet. So I said he was kind of looking like Christopher Columbus. You feel me? Trying
You
to
did
take
you right
yeah,
you
he was trying to take ownership for something that already existed, and all he could potentially say, the highest thing that Mark Zuckerberg could have said was that he was developing alongside of a lot of different people that are creating the metaverse. But like it is no way he could lay claim to that he was creating the metaverse. It didn't work like that. So all I was saying was like, yeah, just basically did a side by side comparison of what he was doing, what he was showing to the world, which so many people got enamored by. Like, oh, it looks so good. Like, hey, calm down. If y'all are saying that y'all are impressed by what he's showing you, like we've all been doing
I
this.
mean,
Like,
it's Mark Zuckerberg, it's Facebook, and I mean
exactly.
you went after, you literally challenged the biggest platform on the internet.
I still do it. They
I,
want me to take down my
outside the
video
gate.
about sandboxing in
Well,
Decentraland.
is this Facebook that wants you to take that down?
No, 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 no. I'm saying people always tell me whenever I don't know why that's so controversial when I simply put a side by side comparison of stuff that we develop alongside of stuff that they are creating and developing that's worth so much.
Was controversial because of the the um the impact that Facebook has. It's like, if I was a boxer and I was like, yo, Floyd Mayweather, like, so like I feel like you definitely challenged the biggest dog in the fight. And what did they say to you? Because Facebook essentially reached out to you because of that. So what
So
did they say?
somebody within the Facebook organization um reached out and was like, we want you to have a conversation. Like, um, he seen the video, he thought it was funny or whatever like that. I don't know how true any of that is, but you feel me? I never had that conversation. It never went any further than that. It was just the fact that they know it. Everybody knows it's true. Like it's not like it's not like
But a lot of people don't know.
for clout you're reaching up and grabbing like the biggest dog in the yard. Like
Hmm.
no, he cannot be the biggest dog in the yard if he's still developing. Like he hasn't released nothing just like we ain't at the time. It was like he ain't released nothing just like we ain't released nothing. So how is he saying like he's creating the metaverse? Like the even the concept of the metaverse is a decentralized place. Everybody gets to create here. Like
Hmm.
so like you cannot lay claim to the metaverse. You can say you're building in the metaverse, but you can't lay claim to the metaverse. That's a little that's a little disingenuous, my boy. You feel me?
Hey, it's funny because in the video you was like my boy. You kept calling
Yeah.
my
Come on, my
Mark, my
boy.
boy.
My
Yeah,
boy, you're being a little disingenuous right now by telling these people what you telling these people. It ain't working out like it don't work like that. It,
that's hilarious, and honestly, rightfully so. I think that you are the person to even have that kind of to even most people would be afraid to do something like that, but I think once again, your background, your genius, how long you've been doing this, where you are in the space now. So you are one of the original metaverse architects.
straight up.
So there's not many people, and I don't. You might be the only. Excuse me, because I don't know, but you might be the only black person. And please correct me if I'm not. How many black people are in this space of the
No,
metaverse?
I wouldn't say that I'm the only. I've met some people. I met a dude that call himself Mr. Metaverse. He from France. Um, nobody. I've never met nobody that really looks like me. That like that comes from like where we come from in that space. Which is that is what be so alarming is because we have something to offer. Like you feel me? Like we don't have to be consumers. Like the minute we are empowered to be creators in this space, which is always why I tip with the kids. Like y'all got something to offer in this space. Like y'all should not just wait for these things to come around for you to be a consumer. Like you should always have the opportunity to say something, to like to express yourself as a creator in these spaces. So that'd be the most important thing to me when it comes to them. It's like, all right. Um and I knew that like I needed to I needed to I needed to frame myself and establish myself as a metaverse architect before architecture companies came in, before big
Hmm.
ass architecture companies start coming in and building and figuring out how to price and model whatever they were doing to the space. Like they could come in and literally have to deal with the fact that like there's somebody that's been here. Like right now in the real world, if I want to call myself an architect, I really got to go to college. I really got to go to all those classes. I really got to get certified.
Right,
Somebody has created a board and information that says like you have to get to this point before you call yourself that. And if
right,
you do call yourself that, and you're not that, like you can really get in trouble. Like if you call yourself an architect and you're not an architect, but you're
right.
doing
It's
architecture work,
right.
you're gonna get yourself in some trouble. So I knew like before they could establish anything in this space, like nah, bro, like y'all don't got the right to tell me um that I'm not a metaverse architect because I build buildings in virtual reality. I build buildings that don't exist. So like who is to tell me who gets to set those standards? And if I don't set those standards, like what gives you the right to set them? I was here before y'all were. Like,
Right. No, real talk. Real talk. And like I don't know anybody, and I feel like I know a lot of people, halfway around the world. And I don't know anybody who's as invested and so deeply involved at the creation of the metaverse as you are. So
straight up,
I don't know anybody that I know a lot of people who's interested in talking about it, but nobody is in the foundation, the fabric of the metaverse as you are.
I
So, man,
appreciate
once
that.
again, and being from South Central LA, brother,
Straight up, 89th
nobody
Street.
expects that. On top of that, nobody expects a young black kid from South Central LA, Inglewood High School graduate,
There
to
we go.
be leading a world phenomena that's going to change the way that we interact for the rest of existence. I mean, wow, what an incredible
Hey, when
way
you frame it like that, it sounds important.
it is. Nah, man. And once again, like I said, you're not gonna never give your just the type of guy you are, you never give yourself the credit because you're always looking of and naturally myself was looking at where we're going, not where we've been. But that's why it's important for people like me to let you know, like, yo, what you are doing is truly incredible and is outstanding.
I appreciate
And
that.
as we come to the end here, I got a couple more questions.
Let's get
One
it.
being we are at the beginning of a new year, 2023. Here we are,
Yep.
and 2022. I'm sure it brought a lot of learning and experiences. What
Hell yeah.
What did you learn in 2022 more than anything else? And I usually ask this question differently, but this time I want to ask it like this: what did you learn from 2022 that you're gonna take into 2023?
What did I learn? What was the biggest? What was a cold little lesson I
Yeah, I guess yeah.
learned?
What was the biggest lesson out of 2022?
Um,
Because I feel like a lot happened. It was a very very long year.
yeah. No, it really
I mean, I just
was
seen you. I mean, you literally traveled around the world,
for real.
and so
Um,
I know it's probably hard to remember all that stuff. But man, you were out here.
I think the biggest lesson is like you cannot defer the responsibility of your success or your perception to others. Like that responsibility is completely and solely yours. Like to guide, to cultivate, um, and to sort of to frame to the world. Like you cannot defer that to other people. If you allow other people to do that, other people will always position you in a way that is beneficial to them. So, yeah, I think that was my biggest lesson. Like, I'm such what you say I am that sometimes I can be a little easygoing. I can be overly I don't like the word passive, but like nothing really bothers me. As long as I can create, I'm good. But like there are things outside of creation, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to the creation of value, especially when it comes to these things like that are very important that also take as much attention as the creation takes. Like creating comes easy to me. Ideas come easy to me. Um but it's the maintenance of sort of like that that perception, that thing that you are responsible for, not deferring that or allowing that to be governed or framed by other people.
So I know that you and you said you talk about ideas. I know that your original company 88 Ideas was built off of the fact that not only do you represent 88th Street and you want people to know that,
Straight up.
but you also have this thing of you want people to. Were you born in '88 as well? No, okay.
89.
89. All right, you off by one. But I know that you have this goal of creating 88 ideas pretty much before you die. That's like your biggest thing, right? Like
Yes, sir.
you want to create 88 ideas that are implemented in society.
Yeah, taking 88 of my concepts and putting them into market before I expire is definitely um that seemed like a righteous goal. That seemed like a righteous goal. I
For a
have
creator for sure.
Yeah, straight
Yeah.
up. And it was me training the people who followed me and the people who supported me, my audience. It was me training them not to box me in. Like you can't
Yeah.
like I didn't want them to like get so enamored with me being one thing. Like, oh, you build a jacuzzi, you the jacuzzi man. Like,
Right.
nah,
And when you
let
talk
me
about that,
live.
when we talk about all the things that
Yeah,
you physically built,
yeah,
because yeah, I guess it rolls over because you built so many things virtually, but physically you've built jacuzzis, you've built
Waterfalls,
waterfalls. I mean,
crosses. I didn't build.
you built a lot of things, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You feel me?
And that's pretty damn cool, man. That's pretty cool.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So final question I like to ask everybody,
Let's get it.
and it's more so to hit home, and we all have a situation where one day it will be our last. As
Straight
soon
up.
as you're born, you sign a contract to die.
Straight up.
So to give the opportunity, and well, I know this is not your last day, but if it was your last day on earth, what would you want your loved ones to know? And specific, let's start off with your parents. What would you want your parents to know?
That they did. If I was talking directly to them, I will let my parents know that they did the best they could do. Like I really appreciate the amount of work and support that they put in into raising me. So yeah, for both of my parents, I would definitely let them know like no, I appreciate the time, the support, the everything that they actually the sacrifice, for sure the sacrifices and everything that they did in order to keep me housed, fed, um, all of that stuff. The ability to let me create, continue to create, and all of that. Not necessarily boxing me in. So I appreciate that.
And you talked about your brother earlier, and so what would you want to tell your brother or siblings if you have more siblings?
I just got one brother. Um, I would tell bro to finish his modules. You feel me? This nigga's supposed to be working on something that ain't new. You feel me, bro? Finish that shit, bro. Yeah. If I go before you finish that, bro, this is a disservice, bro. Finish them goddamn modules, bro. Um, and also to him, like, appreciate, like, me and my brother super close now. So like we probably talk every day on the phone and everything like that. Um so yeah, just thanking him for all those conversations and shit like that. My brother is like my ego. Like I know to call my brother if I just want to, like, if I want to hear my ego talking about any situation, call him. Like he's not really the advice you should take, but he's the great call for you to, you feel me, if you just want to hear your ego explode. Like
You
you
gonna put
feel me?
gas in your tank.
For on any situation.
That's what's up.
Man, fuck that. You should be did this. Like, bro, that is definitely not the path I should take. You feel me? But that's the shit I was thinking. But
Right. You
it's
got you
good to, you
motivated.
feel
Right.
me? Yeah. You feel me? That's fire for sure. So nah, bro, is always that. Nah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that from you for sure.
And then you are a father, so it's important to recognize that,
Straight up.
and I want to ask, what would you tell your daughter?
Oh, see, this is the one you probably gonna. You
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know this is
feel
gonna be the one.
me? It would probably be no, my messages would be more so to the people that are around her. If you don't know, my daughter has autism, and everything like that. So like, my biggest thing is always trying to teach her just always trying to teach her autonomy, how to be in control of her own life and everything like that. And she only 6 years old right now. Um, but it's always important trying to teach her the things that she would be able to do in life that would allow her to operate on her own and everything like that. Because at some point, I do have to die. Like I do got to get the fuck up out of here. And Lord willing, she's still here when I do that. I don't want to live a day where it's like, yes, I'm here and she's not. So, um, it's more so for Prince, my nephew, Ariana, my niece, Anaya, my other niece, is if I'm gone, if there's a day that I have to leave here, chances are one of you guys are left here with Journey. And if she never makes it to self autonomy where she can operate by herself, I would pray that first of all, one of you guys are already in my life insurance policy or whatever. That money is not for you. You feel me? I just want to let you know
Let me
that
say that
right
on
now.
record.
Let me say that on the record. You feel me? Please bring this up. If something ever happened to Flip, that money is not.
That's
You feel
hilarious.
me? It's for you, but like for sure, like I would implore y'all to look after Journey. Make sure she good. Make sure she's solid. Make sure she got what she need. Um, and I guess that's the toughest burden that I might carry around as doing what I do or anything. Like, I spend a lot of time flying. I spend a lot of time traveling and doing all of this shit for other people. But the goal is not for me to run around like fucking Steve Jobs or any of these niggas for the rest of my life. Like the goal is to get in, create something of value, create a framework of value, sell that value, and just to fucking peer with my family. Like it's
Yeah.
not to sit around with you guys for the rest of my life trying to get in front of new and emerging technologies. These are opportunities for me to create a freedom in which I could sit around with my family and be there for every moment and everything like that. I can't do that on the job. I didn't have the opportunity to do that on the job. I cannot do that operating how I'm operating now. But what I can do is sacrifice some of these years in order to put myself in a position to be that for the rest of my life. So taking full advantage of that. But if Journey did hear a message from me, if I wasn't here and she did have to hear a message from me, yeah, I mean I love you. You feel me? And I would pray that you continue to strive and grow to become a excellent young woman, and the same thing that I'm built of, like the same things that I have inside of me, the same creative spark that I have, like you you are me. You're like a consolidated version of me. If I have ideas, Journey has more. Like just continue to try and figure out how to bring those things into the world, how to clear your mind and operate in a world that probably will never accept or yeah, that will probably never accept or understand you fully. Like the world is not designed to do that. The world doesn't even owe you to do that, to cater itself to you. Um, but you owe it to yourself to live life the best you can at your own terms. Don't never let nobody tell you how you act, how you the things that you do are not acceptable in this world. You do what you damn well please. If you want to eat with your hands, eat with your hands. Fuck a fork or a spoon. Um, so that's my biggest message to Journey is is live life on your own terms. Uh, that's if I was out of here. I successfully made that through there.
Yeah, yeah, it's all right, man.
You
Yeah,
feel me?
man. Hey, good
Straight
job,
up.
man. um,
Straight up.
man. Well, look, man. I appreciate you coming through, spending time with me today, man, and
Absolutely.
talking about what it's like growing up in LA and your professional experience. And like I tell everybody, to me, you are, man, you are a neighborhood hero, and I've been calling you that for the longest. To me, you are a genius.
I
I don't know
appreciate that.
nobody that does what you do. I don't think that, man. I mean, and it's an honor and a privilege to know you, man, and it's also an honor and a privilege to call you a friend. So,
Likewise.
man, everybody, uh, Jeremiah Benjamin, other known
Straight up.
as Flip, architect, Metaverse architect, father, and owner of Podlabs. and 88 ideas.
There we
Appreciate
go.
you, man.
Appreciate it. That was proper. That was proper.